Hello, and welcome to the Inclusive Policymaking podcast series brought to you by the Women Democracy Network. I'm your host, Evelyn Samantha Correa, and a legal practitioner by training. And I'm excited to guide you through today's discussion. This series is a part of a broader effort to highlight how policymaking in the city of Harare can become more inclusive, transparent, and participatory, especially for women and other often excluded groups. Today's topic is Unpacking Inclusive Policymaking, and we are joined by two incredible speakers, Tracy and Wimbai. I will allow these two beautiful ladies to introduce themselves, starting with you, Tracy.
All right, thank you, Samantha. My name is Tracy Churi. I'm from Female Student Network. I'm also a women's rights champion and passionate advocate for women and girls.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vimbai Mshongera. I work for the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions, Head of Parliamentary Affairs Advocacy Department.
Well, we have two powerhouses in the room. Thank you so much, ladies, for the introductions. So I'll start with you, Vimbai. What does inclusive policymaking mean?
Thank you very much. I think I must appreciate that we are looking at this term and unpacking it because a lot of times it's abused, but inclusive is looking at planning for the city in the context of Harare with all the relevant and interested actors on board. And this includes the realtors, the owners of the city of every square meter of Harare, the workers, the working class, and professionals who use the services that are supposed to come from the council, the consumers and the citizens that pay the rates that go into the coffers of the council, the industrialists, those are the ones that also utilize the space, pay for it, and pay for the funds that go into the city of Harare. So when we talk of inclusivity, the planning of the city must ensure that all those beneficiaries and actors are on board. And we also have agencies like the environmentalists. We have agencies also that deal with the city and will be responsible for actually determining the standards and levels, like the standards of association and the financial institutions who must put up buildings, those that provide services, and the business sector, because the environment that the city brings by its planning and by its implementation is what will determine the quality of life of the people. So inclusivity will mean that the planning process must be able to take into consideration each and every aspect of the interested parties of the city.
Wow, that was quite detailed. I think what I got from that is all relevant stakeholders must be included in policy formulation. Thank you very much, Vimbai, for that answer. Moving over to Tracy Chiuhuri. What does inclusive policymaking look like in practice?
All right, thank you so much, Samantha. So I'll start by defining inclusive policymaking. So inclusive policymaking is a process that actively engages all stakeholders in the development and implementation and also evaluation of policies, whereby we'll be using the bottom-up approach. The bottom-up approach is whereby we start with the community members, moving up to the policymakers. So we should also be able to know our stakeholders, whereby we're looking at the community members, and also looking into the practice. Language is very important. We should know the language which we are using, which, for example, plain English and Shona and Ndebele. And also we should have accessibility to the disabled people. We should have also the Braille, which is a form of written language for the visual impaired people. We should have accessible to audios and sign language for them to have a better understanding in the community. And also we should have accessibility to know our location, where everyone has access to. For example, for people who are disabled, and also those who are visually impaired should have the access to the location where we are having our consultation. Lastly, I will talk about the input. The input for the community members should not be taken for granted. It's very important. We should know, the community should know what we have discussed, and also after evaluation with the community members, so that we don't take for granted the policies. So I think that's all.
Thank you very much for that. I think what I got from you is inclusivity means making sure that everyone has equal access to the policy formulation process. And I really appreciate you mentioning people with persons living with disabilities. That is making sure that we have audios, making sure that we have braille and all those things. And thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's episode. A huge thank you to our panelists for sharing their insights, and to you, our audience, for tuning in. Join us for the next series as we continue to unpack different layers of policymaking in Harare and spotlight opportunities for inclusion and transformation. Until next time, Women Democracy Network Zimbabwe remains committed to promoting women inclusion and participation in policymaking. Let's work together to build a more inclusive Harare, where everyone has a seat at the table. Goodbye for now.